Hello, welcome to Maverick Live. I'm your host Luke 2, and today I'm joined by Kurtis Cheer.
Hello again, everyone.
How you doing, Kurtis? You good?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Wonderful Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the same shorts as on Monday, but it's all good. So today we're talking about something which I think a lot of people get hung up on when it comes to LinkedIn. It's the social selling index. So this can look quite scary because we've got all these numbers, figures. You know, 71% of this, 71% of that. It's good, I feel, for the salespeople who like seeing figures and seeing themselves improve.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, it's not going to get a sale in a sense if you're just focusing too much or too heavily on this.
Yeah, I would say the social selling index is quite generic. So it is quite a generic rating. I would say it's great for people who are starting out using LinkedIn, people who are basically new to the process or want to up their sales strategy so they can almost see in an easy timeline where they're moving. So if they're moving forwards or if they're moving backwards. The great thing is it does monitor your activity. So the more active you are, the more better your social selling index will be. So we spoke to a few corporate clients at the moment who have a social selling index competition.
Oh, so if they've got a better score, they have you'll get this at the end of it. I mean, it's good. It's a good way of like tracking if your content is engaging with the right people, if you're appearing in the right search bars. So it's a good way of knowing which plates you need to be spinning faster, in a sense.
Yeah. So it's good for tracking that generic activity where you're like, oh, I know that I'm active, I can see that I'm active, I'm growing with the right audience. But actually, at the end of the day, when you're tracking your conversion and sales, that's done internally and done with your sales team. So that will be with your figures as in you go, I've had 10 sales calls this week, I've given out 8 proposals, and I managed to close 60%. So you almost have to track that yourself. But this is more for the outbound activity and the search activity.
It tracks 4 key components, which is the personal branding. So I'm guessing this is content, this is your name going out there. If finding the right people, so who we want to do business with, are you appearing in the right searches for them? Are you getting business that way? Engaging with your insights. I'm pretty sure it's just using the tools of LinkedIn if you're looking at how well your content's doing and looking at your figures. So you just looking at your figures will improve engaging on insights. And you've got building relationships, which is essentially probably the amount of inbox you've got, the back and forth you're having with them, your acceptance rate, and there'll be things like that. So those are the 4 key areas that it tracks right now. And so these are my stats. Currently I'm 71 out of 100, so it's not amazing. I need to start looking more at my insights and appearing in some search terms. But I'm still the top 2%, so that's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, to be fair, that's really good. And like if we break down each step just so people know how they can increase their social selling index if they wanted to.
Yep.
So establishing your professional brand, that's basically growing your audience, growing your connections, posting, so at least your brand awareness is growing as well, so that has a knock-on effect on the followers. I mean, like the company, traffic, all of that activity will help improve that. Finding the right people, that's obviously with your searches. So let's say your target audience is salespeople, using Sales Navigator or even using the free version, just searching for salespeople and growing your audience that way. So a great way where you can track if your audience is growing in the right way is if you check out your content. So underneath you'll have your views, click your views. If salespeople aren't the top and it's HR people, you know something's going wrong there. So it's either your content or you're growing your audience in the wrong direction.
Yeah, if your content is targeted for a certain demographic and it's not hitting that, or you're connecting with a bunch of people who aren't engaging with your content, it means you're not finding the right people. You haven't got an engaged audience, there's people who aren't talking to you. So if you want to find the right people, you need to find people who are interacting with you, people who will like your page, people who are messaging you. Those are the right people because LinkedIn's like, oh, so obviously it was good you connected with this person because you're both engaged in talking. So if you have a big empty nest of networks where no one's talking and it's just full of robot accounts, you're not finding the right people, so it'll knock your score down.
Precisely. And then engage with insights. So that's mainly focused about your content, how much engagement you get with your content.
It's all your stats, isn't it? So clicking and reviewing, where your searches are. You've got a dashboard on your profile, which will show you everything you need to really know about how your post is done, how your page is done, your search. So it's using those tools, essentially. You get more when it comes to premium services, as well as Sales Navigator as well. Because I feel like the social selling index was kind of an additional sort of thing that people look at during their Sales Navigator sort of journey.
Yes.
As a user, which is like a free user, you can see your social selling index, but you need to like find the link to click on it. It's never easily accessible. It's usually like a Sales Navigator sort of term, because people who are on Sales Navigator are having more advanced searches, they're using the platform a little bit heavier, and they want to sort of adopt it into their like process and their sale process, don't they?
Yeah, I think this. So I'll speak to tons of people. There'll be tons of people who either won't know that they've got a sales navigator, or won't even know how to use it.
Yeah.
So I think they brought up the social selling index to go, actually, this is how you can implement a good habit into your daily routine.
Yeah.
So if you can obviously track yourself by your activity, it's almost a good gauge of where you are in a very generic field. So, and then lastly, we move to build relationships. That's basically focused on what you mentioned earlier, which is the conversations between inboxes, how many emails you're getting, your reply rate. So obviously, if you do have a lot of inbox, make sure you answer them. If you have an inbox of LinkedIn and Sales Navigator, it's also to remember that a lot of people think that they're joined together, but actually they are separate. So if you do clear your LinkedIn inbox, be sure to check out your Sales Navigator inbox, because
they're not the same thing. Yeah, so many message campaigns can be lost by thinking that you can find that inbox in the default settings. You need to go into your Sales Navigator inbox.
So you might have loads of inquiries in your Sales Navigator which you don't even know about.
So one of the main questions I want to ask is, does this social selling index matter? I feel like people put a lot of emphasis on, like you said, building up or growing it. It's a contest that people use. But in terms of how we use it, it kind of gets, I won't say ignored, but we kind of overlook it for the job done in general. Like we want to achieve more sales, we want to achieve more marketing. The social selling index helps you do that. But when you're a salesperson on LinkedIn anyway, it's a second nature thing, isn't it? It's like telling people to kind of breathe.
Yeah. So I would say not to worry too much about it. At the end of the day, if you're focusing on, let's say we're focusing on the end result, if you're focusing on the end result, your social selling index is always going to be quite high.
Yeah.
It's mainly for like the newcomers or people who want to implement a new strategy. You can use it to gauge your activity, so you can almost keep a base track, but not to focus too much, because if you focus too much on this and you go, oh yes, I'm in the top 2% of my activities, all great, but actually your conversion is very low, which means you may have to look into your content because you're not hitting the right pain points, you're not talking to the right people, then actually you're putting too much emphasis on this where it's not helping you close the client. So almost that's just for the activity, but then you have to analyze your own activities to go, where am I going right and where am I going wrong here?
You could have a thriving social media page and the social selling index will go, yeah, this is really good, but you won't have any sales at the end of it.
Yes.
Like you'll have highly engaged content. You'd have a really profile where people are watching and seeing your view all the time, and you're appearing in searches. You are the top of LinkedIn, but you still won't sell anything because you don't have that, the rest of a strategy.
Yeah, like precisely. Obviously, we used to always say it to a lot of our clients. We can easily be the viral experts that can be the funny person who can post funny videos every single day and get, let's say, I mean, even if we really went for it, we could probably get over 50,000 views a day of Maverick's activity just from funny videos. But do they convert to anything, or do people just start following you because you're now the funny video man? Yeah,
we've got it's a segment within the Content That Converts course, which I highly recommend checking out on our store, which tells you about win-lose content. And it's where you need to generate content which helps you and helps the audience.
Yeah.
So it'll be audience first, but it still needs to serve that purpose to help you at the same time. And if you just focus on numbers like Social Selling Index, you're kind of just appealing then to these numbers rather than actually getting the job done and then getting those sales in.
Yes. Yeah. So our advice would be, don't put too much emphasis on the Social Selling Index. It's a great track to, if you're going from no activity to some activity, it's a great track there to go, oh, actually, I am active enough for LinkedIn to notice me.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something right there. But then it's tracking your own activities, so whether your views or your content's hitting the right people, whether it's titles or even location.
Yeah.
And it's also the right stats, and if you're getting the right engagement. So if you're just getting people going, oh, that's a funny video, instead of going, wow, how do I learn more about that program? How much is that? Yeah. Those are the types of engagement that you want.
It works as the base guide, but would say nothing more. Fantastic. Well, thank you for coming down, Kurtis.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, and thank you for watching Maverick Live. If you've enjoyed this explanation of Social Selling Index, don't forget to subscribe to us and put your notifications on, and you'll be notified every time we go live, so there might be some really good information that you might miss if you don't do that. And don't forget to follow us on our social media channels as well, which will also notify you when we go live, and we will see you next time from Maverick Live.